what part are you playing?
I don't want to give too much away, but I do in my comedy sketch at the moment. I'm doing this kind of this Nigerian character, which incidentally, I did 2 episodes of Eastenders recently, where I played a doctor, and I thought it was very funny to play the doctor as an African doctor, but not tell anybody. So I get to the studio, and the director goes, action, and I just go, so what is the matter with you? They didn't like that at all. But I'm kind of playing that kind of character.
Your bedside manner left something to be desired, didn't it? Oh, well, Stephen, you've led us in beautifully, haven't you, to a special guest this morning. It's actress Babita Pohoomull. Now, Babita, of course, played beauty therapist Prita Choraria, I hope I got that right, in EastEnders in just over a year in Albert Square, managed to be involved with 3 different fellas, get sacked from a job, get attacked by her date, have a one-night stand with an engaged man, and endure an unrequited love for Mickey Miller. Babita left the Square in January, and now you're appearing in a play called Hitting Home, I believe. Yes. So, what a change.
I know. Really nice, refreshing change. Actually,
so what's Hitting Home all about? It's a bit heavier, I think.
It is a bit heavy. It's based on an autobiography by a woman called Andrea Ashworth. And it tells of her upbringing in Manchester in the 70s. And her real father died when she was 5 years old. And then her subsequent stepfathers were both abusive towards her mum and herself.
And you play the main character,
and I play Andrea, which is such an amazing challenge. And I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving working on it.
I mean, it's obviously very kind of heavy material. Do you tend to sort of take, the weight of the world fall on your shoulders when you're playing a part like that?
Yeah, well, especially because it's based on a true story. It's, you want to do it justice, you really do. And there are so many people. There are, just to put in a statistic, there's 750,000 children who witness domestic abuse a year. And that's just an extraordinary amount. So just knowing that and knowing the reality of the situation, even now in England today, really is a massive challenge.
And as an actress, also, I imagine a massive challenge, because you're on stage most of the time, and a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Do you ever have kind of jitters about that, or is that just something you take in your stride?
Yeah, no, I do. When I was younger, I was doing drama.
Can you get any younger?
Yeah, I can. But when I was at school, I was doing GCSE drama, and we did this devised project, and I took control, as you do, and was sort of going around telling everybody, asking everyone if they were all right, and clearly hadn't looked at my lines or anything at all because I was too busy looking after everybody else. And it got to the production, and I was the narrator, so I could hold my script and pretend that I knew what I was doing. But then the lights came on, and I couldn't actually see my script. So I blagged it for about 20 seconds, and then I had to stop the production. And they had to start again, which was just so embarrassing. And now, every time before I go on stage, I will have nightmares for about a week before about forgetting my lines.
Are you glad I brought that up for you?
Yeah, really.
Oh, I feel your pain. Just briefly, I once auditioned to be in a youth theatre. Goodness knows why, I would have been absolutely hopeless. But, practice. And it was Sir Peter Hall, I seem to remember, who came to the auditions. He never went to any, but he happened to come to mine. Bad luck. So I went in with my duffel coat on. My recollection is I had my hood up because I was shy. I know, Eric, it was very embarrassing. And he said, on you go, darling. And I was on you go, 2 pieces. And I walked out. I never uttered a word. It was so embarrassing.
Can I just talk?
Oh, yes, come on, let's share this pain.
I want to share. As a young person, I went to have an audition, and it was typical Hollywood style. It was a big theatre in the West End, and I walk onto the stage, and the directors are in the darkness there. And as I get to the centre stage, I hear this. No, 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 he's wrong. He's wrong. Next.
Oh, no.
I didn't even utter a word.
Oh, no.
And I think a little bit of poo came out. I was so embarrassed. It was awful.
How do you recover? But you know what? That is now Saturday night entertainment with Britain's Got whatever X Factor talent. Yeah. Treating people that way, it makes me mad, I'll tell you, because it must have been horrible.
It makes me cry. Programmes like that make me cry now.
Oh, I know. I switched off on Saturday. This pooey lady who was singing, and they went, and I thought she was dreadful. Anyway, now... Sorry about that, Matthew. You completely hijacked your show there. Let me tell you what's coming up on today's show. It's time to check out today's news. Which headlines have caught your eyes in the paper this morning? Babita, do you want to kick us off?
Page 1 of the Times is talking about Gordon Brown and saying that he is now on trial as a result of the elections last week.
I don't know if that's news, is it?
No. Well, ministers have said if we have not moved on by this time next year, we'll be looking at certain defeat in the general election. So...
Yeah, it's all this anonymous stuff, isn't it? Ministers are saying... And who... I mean, we were chatting earlier, Babita, and you were saying that you're not a highly political person.
No, not
What's
really.
your impression of Gordon Brown? Because so much of it is done on impressions, isn't it? And this is what this is all about.
Yeah, I know, and I guess Boris Johnson is a big personality, isn't he? So I think that's what it is. Yeah, I'm not very political at all, so it's very difficult to say.
But just as a bloke, you see Gordon Brown, I mean, yesterday he was doing interview after interview after interview, trying to sort of retrieve the situation. Not looking at him as a politician, just looking at him as a guy. What do you think?
Well, it just seems it's like this, you know, constant, desperate attempt to sort of get that one step further. And I just see them all as really human, to be honest. I don't...
Oh, that's not necessarily a bad thing, I don't suppose.
Human?
Yeah.
No, I have to take task with that.
The responsibility that they have is just huge, isn't it? And I wouldn't want that pressure, so...
That's why you're an actress.
Thank you, yes,
right?
Exactly.
He's a Prime Minister. It's a big job. The nation has spoken. It's given him a real sharp message. And I can say, for example, like seeing him on telly yesterday, Gordon Brown, it was the first time I've seen the human side of him, because he looked really genuine, really upset, and apologising for the mistakes that they've made, something you don't normally see. He's been a bit distant.
Are you broadly sympathetic towards him?
I am broadly sympathetic.
Yeah.
I mean,
so what should he do? I mean, a year, I think they've plucked that, you know, out of the air. It could change next week for all we know. But if we say that he's kind of on borrowed time, what should he do, Stephen, if you were advising him?
Oh, well, take my advice, Mr.
Yes, go on.
Prime Minister. Basically, what he should get in touch with the real people again. He needs to get down to grassroots.
Yeah.
He needs to go around the country and literally kind of apologise.
People don't believe him. He's trying that, and people say they don't believe him.
I think he deserves a second chance.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he did take over from the lovely Blair, and he had that honeymoon period, and it kind of worked for him a bit. And now, because of certain policies and mistakes that were made, the nation, as I say, have responded wholeheartedly and gone, look, man, we're not having this.
His biggest mistake really was this 10p thing. I think this is going to be his downfall.
Well, that's the thing. It's whether he starts changing policies kind of willy-nilly, or, well, that's not willy-nilly, that's a specific one, but whether he thinks, right, I've got to change everything I've got on offer, or whether he does that sort of charm offensive, I don't know if he's capable of that, but goes out and talks to the people. I don't know. It's very interesting. But anyway, sorry, I hijacked. What else are we talking about?
OK, so page 2 of the Times is an article about parents, says that parents are abdicating responsibility for their children and dumping them at school for 10 hours a day.
Yeah, this is before school care and after school care.
Yeah, so are they running away from their responsibility as parents, or are we just giving them an option to work and get on with their lives and have a balance?
Well, this is a really difficult one, isn't it? Because we are in this back-to-work culture. And I mean, a lot of people economically just can't survive without, you know, both parents working. So then to get wrapped for dumping your kids is a bit tough. I think the question is, should it fall to schools? I think schools are feeling really under pressure. Would you agree, Lorraine, that that's maybe the issue?
Well, I think that we need to look at who are dumping their children. If you are sitting at home all day...
We shouldn't use the word dumping, actually, also, should we?
OK. Leaving their children.
That's fine. That's passive.
Nicely at the gates, I think that if you are leaving them and then going home and doing nothing, right, or pottering around or spending the day with your friends, then I think that's wrong. Maybe there needs to be some sort of vetting beforehand.
I don't think there's a lot of that, though. I think most of it is hard-pushed parents who are, you know, rushing to get out the door to get to a job at 8 in the morning and not finishing till 6, I think. You know, and I think you can't accuse people of something on the one hand and then expect them to work on the other.
Shouldn't there be like a vetting system, though? Shouldn't it be, why do you need to leave your child at 8 o'clock in the morning? Do you have a job? You know, I mean, I don't mean probing to the extent that you're kind of getting into somebody's life personally, but isn't the need there to find out exactly why they're leaving?
Who's going to do that? Who's on the vetting committee, you know?
But then also, I mean, are we not giving people not enough credit? Surely the sort of person who is leaving their child at 8 till 6, 7 p.m. is the person who's going out working. Do you know what I mean? Hard-working, grafting people. And as you said, it's about economics.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it is for the majority of people, but everyone's shaking your head. Babita, come on, you've got another couple for us.
So the front page of the Daily Express says that British scientists last night unveiled a major new weapon in the battle against obesity after pinpointing a fat gene, which makes people pile on weight, which is great because now drugs and techniques can be developed to sort of attack that gene, whether that's true or not, or, well, I don't know. I mean, how can a gene suddenly appear? I don't know if that's really right.
I think it's called wishful thinking.
I know, exactly. So I don't know.
And what's your last one?
Oh, the last one is £11,000 Argos house.
Ooh.
So you can buy your house, well, the interior of your house in flat pack.
Oh, no way.
There it is. From Argos for £11,000, which I think is a bit of a bargain.
Well, where are you going to put it? That's the
don't
thing.
know.
There's a slight detail there. Where are you going to pop a three-bedroom house? My goodness.
What are the chances of you going into Argos and it being out of stock?
Or you stand in that, waiting that little queue for it to come forward. And you go, there we go. No, well, that'll be interesting. I don't know how many takers they'll have for that. Babita, thank you very much. Thank you. And Stephen, what have you?